Welcome to Season 4 of the Knack for Business podcast.
So, Web Indexer, I'm using the service. I'm finding it fantastic, and I think it's a good opportunity, to help share the concept. What were the core problems that you saw that made this become I got to build this software and because people need it? What were you seeing as a primary issue?
Yeah, so as we transition into the world of AI, a lot of users are finding that they're getting used to asking questions and receiving the answers in the context that they want. So they don't want to go digging through your website to find this information. And websites and businesses have all this content somewhere on the website, but they can't find it. And so the internal search isn't smart or the new content isn't being indexed fast enough. So that's why we have Web Indexer, is to bring that information to users much faster.
So, I guess if you can't see it, you can't hear it. It's not going to be found then, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, ease of use. Let's talk about the ease of use of Web Indexer. And, many tools promise large results, big results, and sometimes they're just a nightmare to implement. How does Web Indexer land that or solve that scenario so that it's not like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking?
That's a great question, Bertie. And we designed it with this in mind. So it's meant to be used by small to medium sized business owners who have no tech skills whatsoever. We have people who don't even know how to operate a computer being able to use it. So you don't need dev skills. All you do is you connect it to your website by just following the steps, and it does the heavy lifting for you. And all you have to do is just give something called a script tag to your website developer or plug it into your website, and we show you exactly how to do that for any kind of website that you might have, and the chatbot is ready to go.
I gotta admit, I appreciate it. I have a little bit of a tech background, but not enough to be dangerous. And just let folks know, Rahel helped me guided me through that whole process, and it was like, wow, that was quick. Oh, now, from the person that has the website, let's say I have a 30-page website for a service business. What does my workflow look like? What is like, okay, it's installed and I say, go, make it so. I do a, kind of a Star Trek command. What happens next?
Yeah, I have a video that shows how you can do this in less than a minute and 30 seconds. So, first things first, you sign in, and then you get taken right through the onboarding steps where you plug in the name of your website. An AI agent will go and crawl through your website to collect all the information in something called a vector database, which stores all your information so that it can be searched through semantically. Then you get something called an embed code or a script tag, and all you got to do is just plug that into your website, and then visitors can type, hey, how do I do X? How do I work with you? How do I contact you? And the chatbot will be able to give them that information, and it can even do appointment bookings as well. So if you want to connect your Calendly to it and you ask the chatbot, hey, how do I work with you? You can book an appointment directly in the chat.
Excellent. And so, does it actually go through my entire website and going, hey, I found all this information? And I think it's called web scraping. Correct me if I'm wrong, or how does that all work?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So we call it web crawling because web scraping sounds a bit dirty.
Okay.
And essentially, we go, so an AI agent, it goes to your website, navigates it same way how a person would go and go through all of your website, and basically reads through all of the text content there and puts it into a database. And so all the blogs, all the help articles, all the support pages, anything on your website is queryable by your chatbot, so it can see everything, but only public data, not your private data.
Having used this, I also remember there's you can handle the sentiment, whether you want it to be relaxed or I guess you don't have moody princess or something like that in there, or senior citizen crotchety or a version of that. But what are the different ways you can shape the communications back to the end user?
Yeah, you can adjust the personality and the branding of the chatbot to reflect what you like. I have one client, he runs a web development service, and he's got a wonderful lady named Jenny as the chatbot. And so her personality is to be extremely friendly, very bubbly, very caring. to whoever comes to the website. And so sometimes adding a bit of personality and character to your chatbot can also make people feel comfortable and they get a sense that you are also like that as well. And so, yeah, if you want to adjust your chatbot's personality, you can do so very easily. And you can always see what people are asking and how the chatbot is responding. And yeah, you can adjust it as you need.
So the user interface, in other words, the person that's coming to my website, what do they see?
So all they see is a pop-up that shows in the bottom right of your screen, and there's a little welcome message just to let people know that, hey, I'm here to answer any questions. And so they see that little pop-up, and if they have a question, they can click on the icon, and then it opens up a little chat window. It works for mobile as well. And then you can ask a question or you can click on one of the suggested messages and go from there. It can send pictures, videos, text messages, links to go to your bookings, links to other pages. Um, yeah, basically anything a customer rep would do for your business.
Perfect. And me as the person that's running the website or the owner of the website, what do I get to see? Does
You get
Jenny show up and say, "Hey, boss, I got one for you"?
That's exactly it. So, one of the core use cases that we see in businesses is to collect lead information. So, we collect a phone number, company, first name, email address, and you can decide what information you want to collect very easily by the chatbot as well. And as soon as that information is collected, it gets sent off directly to your email to say, hey, we got a new one. Here's the conversation that they had with the chatbot. Here's what they were looking for. And we had one client who got a lead for UK for a car wrap shop recently. So that was a great use case. And she talked about all the different products. She wanted a front fender, PPF. And so the chatbot discussed with her the products, and then eventually she gave her contact information, and the lead was sent off to be contacted. And as well, you also get weekly insights at the end of every week, detailing what people are asking, some example conversations, how many messages were sent during that week. So you get direct insight into what people are asking the chatbot.
So is there something specific that, again, back to the person running the website, that you have to do to keep the chatbot in tune with what's going on?
It depends. So usually for the first couple weeks, you have to see what people are asking because you can think all you want about what people might ask, but at the end of the day, the user thinks very differently to how you think. And so for some businesses, there might be some information that the chatbot doesn't have the answer to. Your website doesn't have all the information that a user might have questions for. And when that happens, you get in the email questions that the AI was unable to respond to or saying that it didn't know. And then when you respond to the email answering those questions, then that gets put into the knowledge base that the next time somebody asks the question, the chatbot does know. So then iteratively you build up the knowledge base, and then eventually your chatbot gets to a state where it has all the answers to these questions and your users are satisfied with the level of information that they're getting.
So the next big question: how much is the doggy in the window? So how much is it? How much does it cost? And are there different levels?
Yeah, so we're experimenting with pricing, and right now the starter plan is $49.99 per month, going all the way up to $200 per month. And essentially, we offer different branding and white labeling options for the most expensive options. And then even for the 49 a month, that satisfies pretty much every business needs. Say about 95% of my clients are on the 49.99 package.
So for a typical small business service with under 300 pages, regular updates, starter plan would suffice. Then I take it. Then
Oh, 100%. Yeah, all your needs. I even contact you even for the 49.99 plan. So it's a very hands-on approach. I like to work directly with my clients to hook up to their databases or do custom integrations. It's not just set it and then you're done. It's more of a personalized experience.
sounds fantastic. So other services and other integrations. We touched on Calendly, which is a booking software. Is there anything else that is either coming into play, or even integrating Calendly? How does that work?
Yeah, yeah. So if you want people to be able to book appointments directly in the chat with you, then you can plug in your Calendly link as a conversion. And then people can receive the link directly in the chat. When they click on it, they can book an appointment directly in the chat. But we've had many other features as well. For example, one of my recent clients is ottawahomes.com. or .ca, I believe. And essentially, we hooked up the chatbot to do AI actions, which is a feature that can be used to get real-time data via API. So their chatbot, it can actually get listings based on your requirements. So if you say, I want a large house in Bell's Corners, it'll go and do the necessary search. Maybe you don't want to. So some of the information is kind of hidden as well. Like you want it to be pet friendly. And so there's no filter option on their website to say pet friendly. But you can ask the chatbot, I want to make it pet friendly, and then it'll actually give you the option to be pet friendly. So it helps in that regard. And then it also helps with translating your requirements into the needs and expectations for a house. For example, if you say, I want a large house, you don't necessarily know how much square footage a large house is. But a chatbot, an educated chatbot, will be able to make that assumption for you and then give you the results that you're looking for.
So CRMs and email systems, does that tie into that also? And how does that work?
Yeah. So we've got integrations with Zapier where any lead can be sent to Zapier and Zapier can be hooked up to pretty much any major CRM provider. And so you can get those leads directly into your CRM, which is maybe hooked up to an email chain or some kind of email trigger as well. Yeah, you can plug that in as well.
Perfect. So another good piece of news is that all your prices are in Canadian dollars, and you're based here in Canada. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. Fully founded, incorporated. We are an Ontario, well, a Canadian corporation. And yeah, we started here. 99% of our business is here. We have a couple clients in the US. But yeah, we are proudly Canadian.
Well, everything that has to do with being perchance bilingual, privacy regulations, etc. That's all kind of wrapped up into this service that you provide.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we follow privacy regulations, all Canada based. So PIPEDA, yeah, making sure that we have deletion requests, privacy concerns. These are all focused on. Yeah, these are covered by that.
Do you see there's also an opportunity then? Because normally when you think business, either ma and pa shop, whether it's the corner store or the garage or whatever, would non-for-profits and charities also find this of value?
Yes, I would say 100%. So one of the hardest things that nonprofits have is how do we get the right information to people who visit our website? They might have events or resources that people are not aware of. And so it's very hard to constantly update your website, update the front page, with all your new information. But with an AI chatbot, you can just always, it does it itself. So you add the event normally, how you would normally add it. You don't need to put it on the front page. But since the AI chatbot crawls your website every week, then what it does is when somebody asks, hey, what's new? It already has that updated information. And so it's really useful for keeping people up to date when they ask for it.
So the other aspect I understand about you is the continuous improvement is part of your bloodline and what you're doing. You're involved in hackathons. And so if someone says, listen, I'd like to have my prompt come up purple or pink and also do this, is that stuff you'll look at doing?
Percent. Yeah. Very recently, I was doing that. For example, somebody suggested, why don't we have the disclaimer text instead of having it appear at the bottom of the chat window, have it appear under the user input? And I thought it was a great suggestion. So I added it as an option, and it doesn't show the full text anymore. You have an option to click read more for it to expand and show the full text. And yeah, any kind of suggestion, I'll usually implement it within a couple days. And so yeah, I work with companies to improve the product because that's beneficial to the business and it's beneficial to me to improve the value of the product.
So, good sir, if someone is keenly interested in Web Indexer and goes, you know what? That sounds like the product for me. How do they reach you?
So yeah, you could go to webindexer.app and chat with the chatbot there or book an appointment, or you can send me an email at info@webindexer.app, or you can book a Calendly appointment with me, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message. There's so many different ways. Yeah, up to you.
Well, Rael, I'd like to say thank you so much for providing this information to folks. If you have any questions, you have any to you, the audience, if you have any questions, reach out to Rael.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVISIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email, wayne@motive8u.ca, that is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter u.ca, or his website, motive8u.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people. Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert. Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host. Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space. Then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner, and Wayne Pratt from Motive8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer. Please note that the Knack for Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.